The thing I'm getting out of this, Roach took the fight. It gives him a chance to really be that guy because Roach put in a lot of work and he's a champion. What's the best for him? I'm hoping that he do what I need him to do. You know what I'm saying? You see how I asked him, are you ready? You know what I'm saying? Because I need somebody that's going to really push things so I can see different levels. This time I had a chance to step.
GervontaDavis might be one of the most feared knockout artists in boxing today. But behind the scenes, his career is falling apart, especially after his recent bout with Lamont Roach, and this latest bombshell just proves it. Calvin Ford, the man who built Tank from the ground up, the trainer who's been in his corner since day one, has officially walked away. And it's not just rumors anymore. Calvin himself has confirmed it.
Something is definitely going on between Calvin Ford and GervontaDavis. Now, we all seen that knockdown in the 9th round, but what you probably didn't see is what happened after that in between rounds. Check this out.
You guys calm down, listen to me. Hey, come on now.
Coach Barry Hunter trained Tank for this fight with Lamont Roach, not Calvin Ford. A lot of people were saying that this performance has something to do with that. So, is something really going on between Calvin Ford and Tank Davis? Check out what Tank had to say.
No, I was already paying attention to the crowd. You know what I mean? I was more so it's something we gotta work on in the corner, for sure.
Word on the streets says Ford has straight up refused to coach Gervonta after his recent string of controversies, and sources are calling this one of the most explosive arguments in Tank's entire career. But why did it happen? What was the final straw? And more importantly, what does this mean for Tank's future? Because if we're being honest, this might just be the beginning of the end for GervontaDavis. Let's break it all down. If you know anything about boxing, you know that a fighter's trainer is more than just a coach. They're a mentor, a father figure, the one person who can push you to your limit and still believe in you when the whole world turns its back. And for Tank, that was Calvin Ford.
At DC, they call me Mo. Calvin is Calvin. You know what I mean? I got Calvin tatted on me. Calvin ain't going nowhere. Y'all don't even know Calvin for CCO. I know Calvin, you know what I mean? Y'all don't know. Calvin is Pops. He ain't going nowhere. I got that nigga tatted on me. This shit life. Loyalty over everything. So just, you know?
This wasn't some random trainer-fighter relationship. Calvin took Tank in when he was just a troubled kid from Baltimore, molded him into a world champion, and stuck by him through every scandal, every setback, and every controversy.
See, he was talking shit. Okay, I like that. Do that again. Get out that corner though, young man. Calvin trying to walk his ass down. What you say, y'all?
Let's be right there.
You said man down?
I said we have a hand down.
Hand down.
Yes. Not the hand down. No, hand down. Can I hit with the hand down?
So for Calvin to just walk away now? That means something major went down. And trust me, it did. Because according to inside sources, this wasn't just a falling out, it was a war.
Let me explain something to you. Tank don't look at me as coach, he look at me as dad. Do it look like his son supposed to be taking your dad? I don't even feel right. Y'all hear this time? Tank don't pay his coach. Tank gives me anything I want.
Right.
But I'm a man at the end of the day. Absolutely. And I'm a hustler.
Right.
Second and foremost, I came from that cloth. You know what I'm saying? He watched me lose my house, My wife, my family, he watched me do it. It's bigger than boxing.
Right.
Boxing is just a web.
Leading up to this split, things between Tank and Calvin had been tense for months.
And Gervonta Tank Davis just been released to the public. We know now, December 14th, Houston, Texas, he's gonna be facing a very tough opponent in Lamont Roach. Can you tell us a little bit about the history between them two?
Oh man, they've been knowing each other from the amateurs, silver gloves, everything. They grew up actually together, you know. Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's gonna be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight, and I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about why Roach, because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
Ever since Tank's fight with Lamont Roach, where he barely escaped with a controversial draw, Calvin hasn't been happy. And let's be real, he had every right to be. That fight was a disaster for Tank's reputation. He was supposed to go in there and remind the world why he's the face of boxing. Instead, he looked flat, unfocused, and completely out of sync.
You know, Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when we were working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
When I had to train Tank, when I didn't want him to get in trouble and I wanted to make sure we was together, I used to take him to work with me. And he'd chill. Everybody know him. Everybody know him at work.
Ford's message appeared to imply that there was more to the problem than meets the eye. While Davis's decision to proceed without him may have made Ford feel misunderstood, it was evident that he was choosing to focus on his personal progress and strength. His enigmatic statements conveyed a feeling of fortitude, as if he were prepared to face whatever obstacles lied ahead, even if it meant moving on from his former student. Davis found the timing of his departure from Ford particularly curious, and Calvin didn't hold back his thoughts either. He straight up said, "Tank forgot how to box. No excuses, no sugarcoating, just facts." That's when things started spiraling. Tank, instead of taking accountability, started blaming everyone but himself. The judges, the ref, the bad camp, even claiming he was sick during the fight. And Calvin? He wasn't having it. But the breaking point? That came when Tank got caught smoking during camp. We all know Tank has had issues outside the ring. Legal troubles, reckless behavior, beef with other fighters. His name stays in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. But for Calvin, the one thing that was always non-negotiable was discipline. And when he found out Tank was smoking during training camp, that was it. Sources say Calvin confronted Tank about it, told him he was throwing away his own career, told him that this wasn't the same focused kid he trained years ago. But instead of listening, Tank snapped.
Do it. Them guys don't understand. They do that on the club level fight. Opponents, they say, y'all don't want to get knocked out by this guy, so I'm going to come in heavy. They're going to need the fight because they got to take the fight because they kind of get the numbers. That's what they do on the lower end. But now, they flipping the strip and doing it on the high end. You know what I'm saying? So that practice, you're going to start seeing that a lot now. But how we doing it now?
What started as a heated conversation exploded into a full-blown screaming match. Tank reportedly told Calvin he didn't need him, that he could train himself, that Calvin was holding him back. And that's when Calvin made the decision. He was done. I can't coach him anymore. That's what he told close friends after walking out of Tank's camp for good. And let's be real. This is bad news for Tank. Tank might be undefeated on paper, but let's not act like he's unbeatable. The only reason he hasn't taken a loss yet is because of his knockout power. But if you take that away, what's really left?
Scorecards. Judge at the ringside. Eric Marlinsky scores about 115 to 113 in favor of GervontaDavis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both scored about 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
And Lamont Roach already exposed the blueprint.
I thought Calvin and Kendall was doing you well. Man, shit. I don't know.
He absorbed Tank's punches better than anyone before him. He landed the heavier shots. And if the ref hadn't botched that clear knockdown in the 9th round, Roach would have won that fight.
Clearly in there, man. I thought I won. I thought I did enough to get the victory over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the bills. I've been telling y'all that. And I'm just glad I got to show it, honestly. I'm glad I got to show it. I appreciate, like I said before, I appreciate True Boxing Media. Some guys that didn't count me out. So that's just how I feel, man. I think I won. And, I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to dance again.
And here's where things get even worse. The fight is currently under review. The Boxing Commission is looking at that no call, and if they decide to overturn it, Tank will be handed his first career loss.
Did you get your hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't good enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on?
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, But I didn't really know that you can get disqualified for all that. Or when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
Now imagine all of this happening while he's also lost the only trainer who knows how to bring the best out of him.
I don't want to say that's the blueprint. I just think that, that my plan unfolded the right way.
And if you think other fighters aren't watching this downfall and celebrating, oh, they definitely are. Shakur Stevenson, straight up, said that Tank has been getting away with weak competition for years, and that his fall-off is long overdue.
Shakur, did you think it was a draw?
No. I thought Lamont won.
Who you thought won?
Lamont.
You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know.
You still want the Tank Davis fight?
So what?
You still want the Tank Davis fight? What went wrong? What went wrong? Take out a little steam or fire out of it, or is it still the same?
I mean, we're gonna see. I'm the best fighter in boxing. I've been saying this, so.
Shakur, what went wrong for Gervonta in this fight? Is just because, could we say maybe because Lamont didn't come in, they really...
I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was gonna go. The fight went exactly how I said. Exactly.
After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence been up. I've been knew I was the best.
Keyshawn, what's your worst? Shakur, what's your worst? Keyshawn, he just won his first title.
Get it true.
Good.
Ryan Garcia, the guy Tank knocked out, is now calling him the fraud, saying that Tank has no real boxing skills, only power.
When you're 1 foot out, you're going to get in the ring and you're going to have that moment where you got to step it up and it just won't come. I think that's why.
And then there's Terrence Crawford, one of the best fighters of this generation. And guess what he said? Tank's time is up. And honestly, they might be right. Here's the thing. Tank is still a generational talent. He still has crazy power, insane speed, and the ability to put anyone to sleep. But boxing is more than just talent. It's about discipline, mental strength, the right team. And right now, Tank has none of that.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure. But hopefully we can get it before... Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
Yeah, it's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next. You might see it in a minute.
He's burned his bridges with Floyd Mayweather. He's lost the man who built his career. And he's about to step into the most dangerous rematch of his life with no stability in his camp.
Another thing I want to touch on is the Floyd situation. You know, Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say, Tank is Tank, man. But at the end of the day, you know, the man is chasing greatness. And you should be supporting that. And I always tell you that. You should be supporting that, you know. It's a rocky road that we said what's going on. Just pay attention, man. The story is going to reveal itself. You know, but again, that's how you burn bridges. Somebody said they say the true colors of a person is coming out, man. They can't stand it, you know. Calm is I don't like using that word calm, you know, but our Lord knows. He knows. He knows. He knows.
And let's be honest, if Lamont Roach beat Tank once, what's stopping him from doing it again? Especially now. Calvin Ford walking away isn't just another coach leaving his fighter. This is a warning sign. The cracks in Tank's career are getting bigger and bigger. And if he doesn't fix things fast, he might not just lose a rematch with Roach, he might lose his entire legacy. But the real question is, does he even care anymore? Because from the way he's been acting, it looks like GervontaDavis is already checked out. And if that's the case, this could be the beginning of the end. Plus, Tank Davis has been teasing retirement for years now. It's not just something new, this has been an ongoing pattern. Before his training camp for Lamont Roach, he flat out said 2025 would be his last year in the sport. He hinted at it during face-offs, interviews, and even social media rants. But now, after barely escaping with a controversial draw, his career is more uncertain than ever. The cracks are showing, and even the people closest to him are starting to question how much longer he can keep this up. Calvin Ford isn't blind to what's happening. He's been riding for Tank for years, pushing him to be the best, but he's also been frustrated. Why keep pouring everything into a fighter who might just walk away tomorrow?
Are you retiring?
Are you losing the love?
What changed?
What made this shit trash, garbage?
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Amado.
Gervonta, something should have happened during this time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything?
Fed up with the
Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might regain the love for it though? You never know. Like you said, you got to walk today.
Tank's head isn't in the game like it used to be. He's not training with the same fire, not performing with the same intensity. And Ford can see it. And it's not just Ford. Claressa Shields is saying the same thing. She straight up said Tank needs therapy before stepping into the ring again.
I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older now or what, but I feel like Gervonta is a hell of a fighter, but he needs to get his mental together. When I hear some of his interviews and I see some of the stuff that he's saying, I can just tell that he's not in love with the sport no more. I can tell that he didn't get his just due. I mean, it was crazy to hear that he said he got evicted out of a house or something like that.
That's a huge statement coming from another fighter. But let's be real, she's not wrong. The way Tank's been moving, the lack of discipline, the public meltdowns, it all screams of a man who's losing his grip. Not just on boxing, but on himself. If he's not careful, this rematch could be the fight that forces him into retirement whether he wants to or not.
I think he would be better, and even a better fighter, if he went and did therapy like ASAP. Because I can just tell like he's a little sad, he's a little depressed, even before this fight.
This isn't just a small argument. This is years of frustration boiling over. Calvin Ford has been in Tank's corner since day one, shaping him into the fighter he is today. But now, he's done. He's tired of dealing with a fighter who isn't listening, isn't fully committed, and might not even want to be here anymore. And let's be real, this could be the final straw for GervontaDavis. His career has already been hanging by a thread, and losing Ford, that might just snap it completely. So, what's next? Does Tank finally pull it together and prove to everyone that he still belongs at the top? Or is this the beginning of the end for one of boxing's biggest stars? Let me know in the comments. Is Tank finished without Calvin Ford? And if you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'll catch you in the next video.